If you give me a few moments of your time, I'm going to give you at least 12 reasons why photography is a great hobby to take up, especially if you're either retired or you're getting ready to be retired. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome to another video. I know in the opening I just said, well, if you're retired or you're getting ready to be retired, but really this can apply to anyone of any age, why photography is a good hobby to take up. Reason number one, you learn new skills, and you learn a lot. You learn about different types of cameras, different types of lenses. You learn about lighting. You learn about composition, all kinds of things. I could do multiple videos just on the skills you would acquire learning photography. Reason number two, it's easy to get into. You could do it with your phone. In this day and age, in 2025, you can get yourself a used 50mm lens and a used DSLR and maybe even a second lens, really nice gear for under $1,000. So it's not nearly as expensive as what you would think in order to get into it. Another reason would be it's a sense of accomplishment. When you get that first killer image that you say, wow, I really want to hang that on the wall and I'm proud of, it's a sense of accomplishment. And again, it's not that difficult to get to that level. Yes, there's work involved, and yes, there are things you have to learn. It is relatively easy to get to a point where you're going to feel that sense of accomplishment. Another thing that photography will teach you is patience. You will learn patience when it comes to photography, or you're going to struggle with it a little bit. I like to tell one story. This is an image of my buddy Henry. I would follow him around for almost a year, almost every day, and I knew his patterns. I knew where he would be on the lake at a certain time of day. And a lot of times he would work his way from one angle down the lake and then back, and then there's a little bridge, and the water gets a little too deep for him to wade all the way across where that bridge is, underneath the bridge, so he would fly. And he didn't do it every morning, so sometimes I'd sit there and follow him around for an hour, and then he'd get to the edge of the water where you have to fly across, and he would look, and then he'd just take off in a slightly different flight pattern than what I thought he was going to, and he'd go sit in a tree on the other side of the water. But that took a lot of patience for me to get this shot. It took me several times of going there. It took me several times of him finally saying, yeah, okay, I'm going to fly the way Mike thinks I'm going to fly. And I got that shot. A lot of patience went into getting that image. Another thing photography will do for you is, yes, your sense of observation and your surroundings around you will improve drastically over time. My peripheral vision, I don't know how, I imagine there's ways of testing it, but if you were to test my peripheral vision, I'll bet it's much higher than your average person. I see things from side to side. I see things up in trees because I do a lot of bird photography. We could be driving down the highway. I'll see things along the highway that my kids, especially when they were younger, my kids and my wife, they'll miss it. And I'll say, oh, you didn't see that deer along the side of the road? You didn't see that wild boar right alongside of the road? You didn't see the hawk right up in the tree right along the side of the road? Yes, I'm driving, but still, I see things that a lot of people don't see. It gives you a reason to explore new places. Maybe set up a vacation to go someplace that you didn't think you'd ever want to go to, but you wanted to photograph it. For example, last year when we went to Iceland, a lot of people will tell you it's a photographer's heaven, and it probably is. So it gets you to places, assuming you can afford to go, it gets you to places you might not have gone. It might get you to go to your local park that you've never explored before. There's a park not far from me. It takes me maybe 5 minutes to drive there, where I never really went to until I started doing infrared photography. And it's a pretty good spot for infrared, so now I go there. Had I not taken up photography, I never would have explored even my local park, let alone go to Iceland. Another reason why it makes you exercise. It gets you out on a beautiful day like this. Carry around your camera. Depending on where you live, maybe you go hiking with it. Maybe you just walk around your local area. Whatever it is, it gives you an excuse to get your lazy butt up and out and do a little exercise. Who knows? Maybe you change careers. Maybe you're in a job you really don't like. Now, don't quit your day job and go into photography and think you're going to make a lot of money straight out. You're not. Very rarely. But maybe you apprentice and start working with a wedding photographer. Maybe you do the same with a sports photographer. Now, I know there's not as many magazines and newspapers that are printing sports photography these days, unfortunately. But there's ways of doing it where you can slowly get yourself into going from a hobby to making real income and changing careers. Several of the top YouTube people have done that. You probably know who they are. If not, go research it out. And it's not just them. There are plenty of people who have felt like they were being frustrated in the career they were in and switched over to photography and make a nice living and are quite happy. Maybe you go to some far off land and take a killer image and other people want to buy it from you. And you make a little side income. Nothing wrong with that. If you're a frequent follower, say that 3 times fast, frequent follower of this channel, you'll know that in recent months I joined a local art league that has a gallery, and I've put some of my images in the gallery. Well, the first month I did, I won an award. Got a ribbon. So it's nice to get a little recognition. Another reason might be to get a little social interaction. Maybe you don't get out so much, and this gives you the opportunity to join a local camera club. Or you just find some fellow photographers and you go out on the weekends and hang out and shoot the breeze and take a couple images. Maybe you learn something from them. Or you're nutty enough to create your own YouTube channel like this, and you begin to meet, in a way, people from all around the world. I have interactions now via email, via notes, via comments from people all around the world that I will probably never meet. But I know people now from Japan to Down Under to the UK to across Europe. There's even 1 or 2 people that have sent me notes from South America and certainly the United States. Most of my interaction is with people from across the US, but I never would have interacted with these people had I not had this channel. So there's that. Another reason why is eventually you'll have tangible results. Maybe you'll frame one of your images and stick it on a wall, and people will come into your home and say, wow, I really like that. Maybe you'll end up getting a gallery show somewhere. Don't say it's impossible, because I have one going on right now. Or you create books. I had a video about this, Every year now, for the last several years, I create a book, mostly for my wife, but for my family. Occasionally I'll make one for someone else in my family, but I'll make a book of that year's images. It's nice to have. It's a tangible result, something you can give to others. The other thing you can do, which I don't do often, I do give images to my family. Occasionally I'll give an image to someone else. It's not very often, but I do give images away. Have I sold images? Yeah, I've sold images. I've sold a few off my website. I've sold a few from maybe friends of mine or people that I've known off Facebook or Instagram. So yeah, I've sold some of my images, and it's always nice. Now, if you're going to do that, and we throw this in here as an extra thing, make sure it looks professional. Do it professionally. In recent times now, anytime I do sell an image, no matter what it is, it comes with a letter of authenticity. On the letter, it tells you the day I took the image, what camera I used, what lens I used, the settings I used, what paper it's printed on. If it's a platinum print, what transparency I used to create the negative. If it's numbered, if it's a numbered edition, it has the number on the letter of authenticity. Typically now, I at least send them off where they're matted and they're ready to be framed. So if you're going to do it, make it professional. Another reason why is creative expression. You can really express yourself through your photography. Now, I do watch, admittedly, a lot of YouTube videos. I have paid for a few courses. Occasionally I'll get, well, I shouldn't say occasionally, I'll usually get something out of it when I pay for one of the courses. Many years ago, the first class I paid for, it was inexpensive, and it was from someone, her name is Sharon Shepard. I'm not sure if she's still offering classes or not. I contacted her a year or so ago, and I think she was still doing one. But she had a class, an online class, using Photoshop, and it's how I learned to do the sports images. Made them look a little bit more like watercolors. Now I express, if you've been following my channel, I express myself creating platinum prints. I did it many years ago. My friend Tom taught me how to do platinum, and now I do it digitally, so it's so much easier. But there's still definitely a creative process that you have to learn, and there's different ways of doing it. I briefly mentioned in a recent video about how I was maybe going to do a new project, and I didn't really want to say what it was until I did it. Well, I'm going to mention it now because I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it off. Not because I haven't tried, but now I think I see why you don't normally see it. And that is that I was going out and taking infrared images, converting it to black and white, and then making a platinum print out of it. And I'm having a hard time finding enough images that really lend itself to that. I have one that came out really nice, and I'd show it to you, but it's hanging in the gallery right now. It's actually for sale. So maybe in a future video I'll show it to you. But that was something that I came up with that I had never seen before. Not saying no one else has ever done it, just saying I've never seen it before, to take an infrared image, convert it to black and white, which a lot of people do that, but to then create a platinum print out of it. That I had never seen. That's creative expression. That's creating your own style. That's something that I think was pretty much unique to me. Now, I'm not going to give up on it, but my original intent was to come up with maybe 10 and have another gallery showing of just that. Because when people see it in the gallery, they are like, what is that? You know, it's very different. I've tried a few times. I just haven't found even one more image that I was really happy with that convert it nicely to platinum. Still going to keep doing it, but that's a creative expression. That took a long time in my photography skills to get to that level, but you can do it too. And last but certainly not least would be to document your life and maybe others. Right now I've been doing a lot of documenting of my grandkids, and I shared quite a few of those images on these videos, which I don't know if that's a great idea or not, but I've been doing it. But for example, every year down here there's the South Florida Fair. And my one grandson, and now 2 or 3 of them are doing it, they have an old schoolhouse that's in there, and they sit behind this old wooden desk. And every year I take an image of them sitting behind the desk. And every year you can see them age just a little bit more. That's documenting their life. Or you can do something like that. Now that's a platinum print. This will outlive my grandson. It will probably outlive his grandson if it's stored properly, because platinum prints are known for lasting for as long as the paper will last. And so this is something that eventually I'll give to him, whether it's a birthday present or a Christmas present, whatever, that he can then pass along. Now I'm sure at this age he's not going to appreciate really what it is, and I get that. But it's something that will maybe keep even my memory alive, that he can pass on through generations. And you can do that too with your photography. It's a way of documenting things. I hope I gave you a few reasons. I hope if you're on the edge or on the verge of photography, or maybe you were even got into it and you got in a little bit of a rut and maybe you were going to give it up, that maybe this is going to inspire you to pick up that camera again. Or maybe just take a few pictures on your phone and see how it comes out, and then learn to get into photography. I think it's a great hobby. I've been in and out of it for, I don't know, over 40 years. But in the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years, partially because of COVID and we were all shut in, and partially because my kids started having kids. Now I used to photograph my own kids, but not like I do now, more because I have more time, and let's face it, the equipment is better. My gear is better now. And so I do more of it. And I have a lot more time. And that's why I say maybe it's good for retirees, or if you're someone that has a lot of time. Maybe you're a single person, you don't have a family and you have more time, or you're just starting to raise a family. Take pictures of your kids. You know, you'll have that. You'll be able to keep that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope I gave you something to think about. And until next time, take good care.